Hey y'all, it's Miss Katie. Welcome to Project 54, episode 41. We're getting there. And this week it is vintage suppers. Now, this is going to be things that Mama used to make, your mama, my mama, maybe your mama, I don't know. We grew up in different regions, did we? I don't know. I'm from the South. My mama always had meatloaf. I loved it when she had meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and corn sticks. In fact, the one time I was too shy to tell the substitute bus driver that, hey, this is my house, I need to get off. And I had to go the whole route because I was too shy to tell him that was my house. I'll never forget. My mama had meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and corn sticks, as well as a side of worry because there was no such thing as cell phones and things like that back then. Anyway, I digress. But y'all, this is episode 41 of Vintage Suppers on Mama's Cooking. Need I say more? Y'all come on in here to my Heritage House kitchen. This is Heritage Ways, where we honor home, celebrate heritage, and spread hope. We give all glory to God. That is part of mine and Mr. Patient's heritage, and that is the most important heritage that we want to pass down to our future generations. Now, after that, I want to pass down the love of good food, of cooking, but the memories and the heritage that is in good cooking. Good food, memories of being around the table. And that's what I am full of. I'm full of memories of being around the table in a God-honoring home and my grandparents and so forth. So I want to bring to y'all today Mama's Meatloaf. Now, my mama was passed on, but I just want to say to my Aunt Penny, if she's watching, this is a little deviation because I'm changing up some of the ingredients. But I'm a mama, and I've been a mama almost 30 years this year, so it's Mama's Meatloaf. All right, now quite honestly, I do make meatloaf all kinds of ways. In fact, I rarely use a recipe. Let's turn the oven on 350. I'm going to talk about the ingredients as I go and maybe substitutions you can make, or you can even admit certain things. I'm going to start with 2 eggs. My mama's recipe was 1 egg, but I'm going to start with 2 eggs. These are farm fresh eggs that actually are from my brother, who came up here Independence Day weekend from Middle Tennessee and brought me 4 dozen of his farm fresh eggs.
Let's hone our hospitality skills. Make sure that you read the recipes and understand them thoroughly and have all of your ingredients on hand before beginning to cook.
All right, so we've got our eggs in there, and I'm going to go ahead and add the tomato sauce. Now, this recipe does not have milk. A lot of mine that I make, call for milk. This one calls for tomato sauce. This is just an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Mama didn't use Worcestershire, but I'm putting in a good healthy dash, or you can use liquid aminos, which is a healthier option. Also, no pepper is added in Mama's recipe, which is what I'm looking at right here. But I am putting about 1/8 of a teaspoon, and then I'm putting in 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I will write all this recipe down below because my friend Debbie at Higher Aim Homestead has been kind of writing the recipes down for all of us in the comment section, but this might be a little confusing. Okay, now I'm going to add the 3/4 cup of oats. This is not instant, this is just rolled oats. Then I'm going to put in 1/2 cup of chopped peppers. I do have 3 colors, the orange, red, and green bell peppers, 1/2 cup, and then 1/4 cup of chopped onions. I do have red and Vidalia on my onions there. Okay. Then I'm just going to mix all this in before I add the meat. And then I want to show you something I do a little differently when I'm baking my meatloaf as well. Okay, when I'm baking my meatloaf, and I think I might have gotten this idea from Martha Stewart back in the day when I used to watch food TV all the time. I have a baking sheet, and I don't know what size this is. It's old as the hills. But I have a cookie cooling rack that fits right in it. So, and then I have a piece of parchment paper. I can't sing the praises of parchment paper loudly enough. So I love it for so much. And I buy it at a discount at the Amish surplus store. So put my parchment paper on top of my cookie cooling rack that is in my pan. But I use the glove because it's just easy cleanup. And I especially used them when we were on the RV and water was at a premium to wash your hands, because you know on an RV it's premium, and so I just use the gloves. So that's what I do. You do what makes you happy. Now I use something else my mama didn't do, but I use I use a mixture of meat, and this is a an 80-20 ground beef that is locally grown and processed. And then here is a ground pork. So the two different kinds of meat really make a difference in my opinion. And so I always try to do more than one kind of meat. You've got the different kinds of fats mixed in there as far as the different amounts of fats and so forth. So I'm going to get my hands in here and with my gloves on, and I'm going to mix that up, and then I'm going to show you what I do with this rather than use the loaf pan. I haven't used one of those loaf pans since I was early married 30 years ago. Okay, after I make sure it's mixed well, I will form it into an oblong shape on my paper, or I might put it in two meatloaves, two round ones maybe. So I just put it on here however I feel like doing at the time. The idea of using the parchment, the grease is going to be collected on the pan, and your meatloaf's not going to sit in it like it does in that loaf pan. And it's going to be a little bit more, well, I want to say crispy on the outsides. I don't know another word. That's not right. I want to say less tender. I like the ends that haven't been sitting in grease, and they're more done, more dry, more crispy. I'm having a hard time finding the word, but anyway. All clean. In the oven for 350 for an hour and 15 minutes. But watch it, because it might be done before then in your oven. Don't forget, meatloaf is great for a meatloaf sandwich the next day, cold. We love it. For sliced a couple thin slices on bread with mustard or mayonnaise or ketchup or whatever you like. So I'm always loving something that I can have left over for the next day or even after that. So let's get it put on a platter and slice it up and taste it. All right, well, since it's my mama's recipe with a few tweaks in it, then we'll serve it on my grandmother's, my mother's platter here. Oh, it smells so good with that, with those peppers. All right, it was in the oven for an hour and 15 minutes. I like the part that is a little more done, a little crispier. Oh, look at that. Oh, and the peppers smell just so wonderful in this, y'all. If you want your meatloaf, you know, thicker, all you have to do is just form your loaf that way. Or if you want to put it in a loaf pan, that's fine too. All right, here's our meatloaf. Look at that, steaming hot goodness. I'm just going to taste a little bite. It's going to be hot. You can mix horseradish with mayonnaise, and you can have a horseradish sauce. You can mix equal parts ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, Mr. Patient's favorite. Serve with mashed potatoes and gravy. Maybe some cornbread. Y'all. Oh, that is so flavorsome. So tasty. I was only going to eat one bite. That is so tasty. Well, all right then. I'll have to tell you bye, and I'm going to finish this little end piece. Thanks for joining me this week on Vintage Suppers. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.